Welcome to the road schedule board meeting of Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. The meeting is now in session. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance.
Your flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Brady, please call the roll.
Ms. Dane. Here. Mr. Gillingham. Present. Mr. Huska. Here. Ms. Pritchard. Here. Ms. Pavlik. Here. Mr. Karen. Here. Mr. Stiver. Here. Mr. Madison.
Here. Thank you. We'll be calling a forum on our mission statement. We are a learning community providing students with a competitive advantage through career technical education and academic excellence. As a reminder why we're here, folks. Letter E, resignation. Mr. Nowak, board member with certain Board of Education since January 2019, representing Brunswick City Schools, has turned in a letter of resignation of this position for personal reasons. Mr. Nowak brought tremendous knowledge and significant value to the board. He will sincerely be missed. Absolutely. Mr. Nowak was our conscience at night. Good man. So now we're going to move into F, the appointment of swearing in of Mr. Nowak's appointment by
Technically, not to be specific, but we'll have to move on the resignation, which provides the opening and
May I have a motion to approve Mr. Nowak's resignation? Mr. Gillingham, second, next response.
Yes.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. Huska.
Aye.
Ms. Dane.
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Ms. Pavlik.
Aye.
Mr. Karen.
Aye.
Mr. Stiver.
Aye.
Mr. Madison.
Aye, thank you. Now we're going to do the appointment and swearing in. Ms. Nancy Talley from Brunswick City School District will now be sworn in by the treasurer with the keep over the office. She will serve the remainder of this year due to Mr. Nowak's resignation.
You'll please stand and raise your right hand. And then you can read off the monitor.
I, Nancy Kelly, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as a member of the Board of Education in and for Medina County Joint Vocational School District, Medina County, Ohio, to the best of my ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect, and hereafter to be enacted during my continuance in said office and until my successor is elected and qualified.
Congratulations.
We will have everybody introduce themselves. We can start with Mr. Fiber. Go around the room and introduce yourselves with this report.
First started, what we're reporting.
Given current probably.
Valerie Catley, United States.
Dennis Natson. Okay.
Tina Dane comes with. Jean Christian with that.
Like who's
Thank you so much. We're going on to number 2, the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as approved for today's meeting? Is the royal is in the we need a motion when we talk about it. Going to make a motion before we vote on it.
If we wanted to
Change.
separate,
Yeah, we need to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second. Okay, do we have any changes in the agenda?
Yes. Under 10E personnel, I would like to separate out as it's going into item, the student intern contract.
Oh. Any objection to that?
I would like to separate.
I mean, we'll do this one first. With no objection, it will become, that item will become E2. Okay, yours next.
Separate out C, the resolution.
C. Then is that resolution C. Gene, what did you want to take out?
The C, under the superintendent's about textbooks. Are this, stuff about around this weekend?
That would be C, okay. Resolution, subject C, whether we need to like that in the separate vote. Would like that in the separate vote.
Do you want that as a separate vote?
Yes.
Okay, so that would end up becoming,
It can stay the way it is, it's just gonna be part of the consent, shall have a specific action, but it's maintained the same. So it's like, okay.
we'll get a little bit of the separate vote. Okay. And the other thing is to our work time plan. That being said, those are our two changes, and one items.
Mrs. Pavlik,
Aye.
Mrs. Dane.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. Ruska. Aye. Mrs. Deli,
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. Karen,
Aye.
Mr. Stiver,
Aye.
Mr. Matt.
Aye, thank you. All right, this is the time of meeting for our public participation, where members of the community may speak on 3 minutes. If you would like to, please state your name and please from the detail. Go ahead. Do you have any members of the public who'd like to speak? Please.
Sure, hi, I'm on this, but Clifford from Litchfield, I just have this spot. First, actually, we did on a public here, so I thought I'd stand up and say hi, but I didn't know how much that is appreciated. I thought I'd do pen and paper, I've been wanting to get here. My kids are next to Kate, graduated from City 2 years ago, and Evelyn Cage is in the shepherd. They're doing so great. We love what you guys are doing here. Definitely, I'm heavily involved with the community. Lots of good morale and glad we'll talk about what's going on in here. And the Prince favors to Chris Kalina, Chris, did I get that right?
Yeah.
Who spent a lot of time with me on the phone. I've been trying to engage young adults, recent graduates under 22. And I probably just said that you guys were trying to publicize your great tradition. So he really helped me understand that and how to really get that to kids that I was spending time with the community, because I know how hard that is to get things out in the local community. So I think that if anybody has any questions for me, wants to see me afterwards, I'd be happy to talk with you. Thank you very much.
We have any other members of the community who'd like to address the board? Dr. Howard.
Okay.
Just making sure. That being said, we're going to move on to our 4 next regular scheduled meeting. We have the board meeting on October 9th, so it's going to be a work session here in the building. That's at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12:30 here in the building, and it'll be a work session. Any board members, as usual, for our work session, we have topics we'd like to cover. It is 12:30. Please shoot me an email on items that you might like to discuss during our work session. We additionally have our regular scheduled meeting on October 24th, and that would be here between 6 p.m. Educational presentation, superintendent.
Thank you. We have 2 educational presentations. We'll go with the first one. The senior exit survey will be co-presented today by Mr. Christopher Kalina as he passes the baton on to Mrs. Wendy Drill. They have collaborated in on this effort. So turn it over to you, Tim.
Great. Thank you.
Well, good evening. Well, Wendy and I are excited to share with you the result from the 2023 Senior Exit Survey. And why do we do a senior exit survey? Well, we do it for a number of reasons. Number one, I guess from a little bit selfish standpoint, I just like to know why students make the decision to come to the Medina County Career Center and who influenced them in that decision. But we also want to know how we can continue to grow and improve the product that we deliver. So we ask students their opinion on their experiences here at the Medina County Career Center during their 2 years, and also if there are some things that we could potentially improve upon. Who was the class of 2023? Well, they were more diverse than Medina County, and I can tell you that I'm excited to share with you that our population continues to become more diverse every year. The majority of our students attend here full day, over 80%, and we have a number of students who are taking advantage of advanced academics. Over 30% of our students are taking advantage of our AP classes, CTP classes here on our campus.
So this next statistic reflects that 98% of our students feel safe here from the Medina County Career Center. And I have to say, in over 20 years of education, being a teacher and a school counselor at various public schools, this number really makes me proud to be in this building here today. I think that when students feel safe, when they feel like they're in a school of choice, they're happy in their programs, that creates a sense of belonging, which then interprets over to a sense of safety. So I think that that's a really extraordinary number that we have here.
So this year we asked students their thoughts on technology. And as a school of choice, but also as a school of very hands-on programming, I find it kind of an interesting question to ask: how important is technology to students? And even though so many students come here to take programs that are very hands-on, even more mechanical in nature, technology is still extremely important.
This shows that 93% of our students felt that their technological expectations were met here at the Medina County Career Center. And just to kind of brief on that, this number could go up next year. We did have a discussion last week at our county counselors meeting. I invited everyone here from the county, all the school counselors meeting. We talked a little bit about technology. One of the discussion points that came up was Chromebooks. A lot of the students felt that was lacking here. That was one of the complaints that we had, is that they weren't one-on-one with Chromebooks, but our county schools said that some of them were allowing their students to take their Chromebooks to the Career Center, and some of the homeschools were requiring that they return them before coming to the Career Center. So this created a lot of discussion amongst the counselors. And I think next year, our students are going to be allowed to keep their homeschool Chromebooks, hopefully. That's where we're going, and then this number will go up.
So for exploration activities, I will tell you these numbers are drastically down from prior years, and the reason is COVID. Students couldn't come visit. They couldn't come in the 8th grade to come visit. They couldn't come in the 10th grade to visit. And Dr. Engelhardt and I collaborated during this class, and we ran what we call the Road Show, which is our big promotional event that runs during the month of October and November, where I visit all the home schools, and we meet with about 1,500 students. We did that right from my office, and we did it live, and we went classroom by classroom by classroom across Medina County to deliver those presentations. And Mary and I, that was a lot of fun, Mary, when we did that, but we pulled it off. And even though it was a virtual event, still the majority of the students said that the high school presentations were most important to them in their decision to come here. So that's pretty cool to see that from that group of students that graduated, right, Mary?
This slide shows you all of our Project Lead the Way participation numbers in our associate schools. So you can see the percentage of students participating in each of the different courses that we offer, 6th through 8th grade. So we offer everything from designing and molding and biomedical to app creators and medical interventions. And I can say, as a school counselor, having worked in the middle school with grades 6 through 8, the impact of these courses is tremendous. Students love them. For some of them, many of them, it's the only hands-on experience they have with their academics in the middle school level. And I didn't even realize until I got here and saw the statistic that 42% of students say that participating in these programs helped to impact their decision to coming to the Medina County Career Center. So that's really tremendous.
So talking about influence, who is the greatest influence on students' decision to come to the Medina County Career Center? It's always been mom and dad. They still rank top. But what we're seeing are a little bit different trends. I think that has something to do with this COVID impacted population, trends, siblings, and we also see homeschool guidance counseling rising up. So that's exciting to see, getting through to our homeschool counselors. So what about the different options? When we're out promoting our school to students, what should we be talking about with them? Of course, we're going to talk about career technical preparation, but is that the only thing we should be focusing on with those students? Maybe we need to focus on the fact that you can still participate in activities at your home school, or maybe we should focus more on the academic product that we have here at the Medina County Career Center. And so we look at what's most important to students, what did they rank high? Of course, they ranked the career technical class. That's why the majority of the students come here. But interestingly enough, with this particular class, and this is the first time I've ever seen this in 20 years of doing the survey, the social aspect, that social and peer interaction was so important that it outranked everything else. And so very interesting to see that. I guess not surprising considering what that group of students really went through.
Okay, so this number again, for me was
Awesome to see. Student satisfaction with our academic choices. 0% of our students were dissatisfied with the choices that we offer academic. I think that's just unprecedented. That's an amazing number to see.
That's the best we've ever had. Zero's pretty good. Right, that's hard to top. So where's the group going? Where are our students going? Well, we still have the majority of our students pursuing more typical four-year college degrees, but I'm gonna tell you, over 20 years, I have really watched this number swing. So when I started here back in 2001, we didn't have as many students going on to traditional four-year colleges and universities. That number grew to over 50% a few years ago, and now we're actually seeing a little bit of a trend in a different direction with this group of students. We see more students pursuing two-year colleges, apprenticeships, looking at different options, and the number of students going directly to work from the Medina County Career Center, taking advantage of the in-demand certifications that we are delivering them here, 50% of the population going straight into the workforce. So very interesting data from this group of students. College credit attainment.
45% of our students have already earned college credits here going through the Medina County Career Center, and 16% still have college credits pending. So it's really nice to see that the majority of our students, over half, are taking advantage of the college credit options that we offer here in the Career Center.
And where are the students going? No real surprises here. Our students stay close to home. Every one of our top colleges and universities are right here in the state of Ohio. Tri-C has historically been our #1 destination, University of Akron right along with them. And that's where students are headed.
Over 42% of our graduates have the potential to earn scholarships. You'll see right now, 26% have already earned scholarships going on to college after the Medina County Career Center, and 16% of students have scholarships pending at this time. This, I also was just so proud to see these numbers. When you talk about students feeling prepared for college, a lot of times in a typical high school setting, you'll talk to a lot of students who still really aren't sure where they're going to go next or where they're headed, what path they're going to take. When you see this number, 99% of our students feel prepared for college or career or whatever they're doing after they graduate from the Medina County Career Center. That is something to be really proud of.
So these are some of the fun questions. These are all open-ended questions, so there's no Likert scales, there's no answers for them. These are just open questions that we ask the students directly. What's the top reason that you decided to attend the Medina County Career Center? And I will tell you, Wendy and I went through all of these. There's hundreds of answers to go through, and so we do not change this. We don't reword any of these. We just literally cut and paste what are some of the top answers that we saw, and so. Please excuse any typos, those are not from us, it's just right from the words of mouth from our students. So wanting to get ahead, wanting to do some exploration, and this is a great quote. I wanted to get out of playing video games and working at a fast food restaurant or grocery store. I wanted to do something I love, so this student has a love of cars, is what influenced them, and that is the career path that they're looking to go down. So they're really looking ahead and looking for an actual career.
This student talked about experience. Their quote is, I decided to attend the Medina County Career Center because I knew I wanted to go into the medical field, but I did not know specifically what I wanted to do. And I wanted an understanding before spending all my money on college classes that I didn't end up liking.
Smart decision. And students just doing career exploration, coming to the Medina County Career Center to help guide me for what I might be interested in doing afterwards. I know that's why my children came. So what are the top likes? Your program, the labs, the best part of my day, really came to school for that, and being in lab with people that share similar interests, making new friends.
The staff. Kudos go out to all of our staff because students talked over and over again about how much they love our staff here at the Medina County Career Center. This student said, what I liked most about my experience was the interactions that I had with my lab instructors. They were always not only my teachers, but also professional friends that I knew I could always lean on. The teachers, for sure, the academic teachers are stronger than homeschools, and they generally had classes, the classes generally had a better environment.
And again, what's this class all about? They're really about the people because they just lost some of that interaction for a while. So the biggest thing I like most about finding people whom I can be friends with and learning more in my academic classes rather than my homeschool. I also really enjoyed the fact that I got real world experience here at the Career Center. Top recommended changes. Now, again, there's no answers on this one, and I let the students know right up front in the instructions that if you don't have anything, you have to type none. You physically have to go in and type none if you don't want to change anything. You can't leave it blank. And just always, the majority of students just say, you know what, I don't really have that much. I think it's just perfect the way it is. So 37% of students typed in none.
A lot of students mentioned the parking lot. I went out there on Mondays at the end of the day, it's like, no, what parking lot can be like, so. That was the top complaint that students had, was the parking lot. So there are a couple of some suggestions. Some students mentioned sectioning off the parking lot like they do at the homeschools where they can paint a spot. A lot of students mentioned the staggered dismissal. So this student in particular said that let seniors out sooner, maybe by 5 minutes, or dismiss by hallways. And several students mentioned keeping it around the night.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you guys very much. Very well done. Mr. Committee, can we get that as a PDF in terms of all these good stuff?
Well, certainly, I hope we're going to need about send it to us.
We have it as a PDF. We can send it.
Thanks.
So on the, if you see on the agenda, for those of you that are on board docs, you can see it's both a PowerPoint and a PDF. So we can make that happen. Yeah. Ron Coco from Clark & Co's Associates is here, and he is going to present on the construction projects that we have arranged for this summer, and some of the ones that we'll be taking action on. Behind me is Frank Bestie, he is representing the Ken Cleveland Foundation, and he's very interested to see how we proceed with this. But Ron, if you'd like to come up and talk about it, all of the diagrams that you have presented are all at their tables. Well, that's all Ron. Yeah, he's here. Oh, I don't know. How are you, sir?
Go through each one.
Yeah, let's do construction.
Sure. So, first project to discuss is the proposed new construction trades building. A little different from what we've been doing here. This will be a new freestanding facility to the east of the main building, south of the maintenance garage. Go into the next slide. So this is a 16,000 square foot facility. It essentially increases by 30% each lab, and there's 2 labs. 300% increase in what we currently have across the parking area here. So increasing the capacity, it'll provide some outdoor work area and storage area with a walkway from the main building. Right now, we're slated to be on an agenda with the city next Thursday, the 12th of October. So we're going to go to the next slide. Floor plan. So again, if you can envision, right now your current construction trades consist of the 6 bays and a single classroom. We're essentially adding a 30% increase plus another classroom and a full new lab space with offices, tool rooms, and there'll be a full mezzanine for storage and utilities. That's what those stairs will represent going up to a mezzanine space. Large overhead doors that go both from the parking area as well to the rear area where there'll be Conex storage boxes screened from the street area. In terms of size, elevation, and aesthetics, it's going to be very similar in height that you have across the parking area. We've added some light windows on the east and west facades to get some natural light, plus the glazing in the overhead doors and some storefronts in the entranceway. So we're trying to make it as light and airy as possible. And we're going to explore some ideas, possibly adding some skylights as well. This is the rear elevation where the Conex boxes will be stored. You get a sense of scale where there'll be 8-foot screen walls. And then this is the west view of the parking area. Again, following the similar aesthetics, metal siding patterns that you have on this building, as well as the construction trades. And then just an aerial shot of showing in terms of scale and position to the maintenance garage building to the north. So that's the construction trades. Questions? Yes.
Hey, my apologies, it's good to have you. The overhead doors on the one side, I'm having trouble, I didn't bring it over with me, but it's how big are those?
We need 14 by 14.
14 foot high and 14. I threw this question out there, this is a thought, thinking of this. Consideration for items that were completely constructed. We've given ourselves enough room to bring items out that were built in there.
Yeah. Right now, the module that they use is 12 by 12. By 12. By 8. So anything that they would be building in those modules, they can bring those out through those doors if they want to. Okay.
All right. And then the mezzanine would have load capacity on that. Is that going to be
That's going to be 100 pounds per square foot.
and able to get a tow motor up, removable railing to slide? All right. Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
good question.
We need to talk about a lift as well, a motorized lift.
Oh, really?
Awesome. We have one similar in our.
Super. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions?
I just wanted to comment, I think, I saw the note about a shipping container, you're utilizing shipping containers in the back. I think that's really neat to repurpose those.
Thank you.
I've heard, people are like making tiny homes out of them and stuff, so I was glad to see it about this.
Okay. Next scope of work proposes interior renovation in the agricultural building. Currently, there's 4 sets of science classrooms that exist there that were part of the original. That was an addition that was built in the 80s. This past summer, some of you may recall that we renovated the chemistry lab areas, and I think that's been a major improvement. We want to do the same type of facelift for the 4 classrooms: physics, behavioral science,
Physics, anatomy, physiology, life sciences, and Zach will just here if there's any specific questions to what classes are called, but Zach's bottom right hand corner.
So we're doing a few little rearrangements of the classrooms, especially in that corner office. Segregate a little easier for its operation. But I think it's going to be all new lab counters and equipment, sinks and plumbing. So we get that all fixed up, but new finishes, etc. And technology. The one aspect of this job that's a little different than just the interior work that we'd be renovating. We're going to replace the metal roof that's on that side of the building. It's a slope green. The problem we've known about for years is there's these 4 dormers, and A, they leave, and B, the instructors have a hard time because in the morning the easterly light comes flying into those classrooms and it's moved right onto their boards. Makes life So we're gonna take those dormers off. Just flat the roof downstairs. But that's part of the scope of the work as well as in this project. So, that's the agriculture work. And last but not least, is, we're gonna renovate the, main office area. We're gonna completely reconfigure it. Basically, we're gonna demo the entire exterior. The space, we're gonna create a new front entrance to the office area. And try to make it much more visible and accessible. All new office spaces for the staff, reorganizing those areas. And, we're creating, in the lower right-hand corner is a new medical clinic space. The one that you have now is a little inadequate, so we're going to increase that space for the medical purposes. So, yeah, it's all new walls, all new ceilings, all new lighting, HVAC, everything, including the teacher's break area. We'll renovate that space. And although it's not indicated, this north, you get that north-south corridor area that's on the east side is we're going to replace the ceiling and lighting there. You know, we did that in the commons area this past summer. We just think it would be good to continue that work. We finished that corridor space. So that'll be incorporated as part of this project as well. But I think organizationally and how the spaces are arranged works with the new administration and how they're trying to work their magic. So anyhow, that's the main plan for the new main office area.
Making the clinic much more functional for what they do on a day-to-day basis. That is a huge thing we're doing with this. So it's an ambitious summer, laid out a lot. Usual, every year we say don't tear up the building, every year we do. But obviously the big push is our 50th anniversary, and for all intents and purposes, we will have touched every part of the building in the last 10 years.
One item we should probably mention also, it's sort of a set aside separate item, but having worked through the last many summers over here, and we know that we've added and expanded mechanical equipment, some utilities in the labs and everything. And this building still contains the original 1970 electrical equipment, switchgear. And it's been sort of reworked and added on to, and with the addition of the new construction trades building and the service that we're going to have to feed from that location, we're recommending, it doesn't have to be, but we're recommending it's probably the right time to replace it, put a new service in, and get some new technology. The issue there is right now, today, getting electrical equipment is very challenging. Very long lead times. So it really needs to be planned so that we can get it in time to make the switch over. We found some sources of materials that sort of create sort of a generic box that we can work with, and then we can modify for our needs. Right now, if you just buy it off the street straight up, 1,400 amp service or 5 watt, it'd be anywhere from 50 to 60 weeks. With this sort of package unit that we're able to buy now, it gets it down to 26 weeks. We feel that would give us a fighting chance of getting the switch over and getting the new electric. But it's a real challenge in our industry right now. But we would like, and we've recommended that we could possibly go ahead and get informal quotes and get some and get that equipment ordered ahead of a big package.
And that is on the agenda today. Schematically, Ron, it's for today, Ron will secure the 3 quotes for the electrical switchgear. We get those approved next month, and you would have an opportunity to see those quotes. And then the construction trades building would be for approval in January, and the remainder of the construction would be in February. The reason for the January is because as soon as the ground falls, we want to be breaking ground on that construction trades building to be done as quickly as possible. And quite frankly, the background work that needs to be done to make sure bid docks are where they need to be, Ron really needs a month between those 2 items being in place. Those are going to be how the approvals break down. Any other questions for them?
Ron, when you got switch here, right, and I know it's a long lead time on that. So we'll have to shut the building down, then change over the power. If you want to time the notes to receive equipment when we're in summer recess, we shut the building down, or it doesn't do us any good if we get 26 with equipment and we do the work in January, we're not going to shut the building down in January. So it's a 50 week is more advantageous price wise, but we do it in June and July.
So the 26 there, they're not giving you a significant premium pay for that shorter window because they're just building package units and then customizing it as you need in the field. So I don't think that would be an issue.
Will you be looking for switchgear for companies like Siemens or are you going to live in China?
They're all doing it now because they're all facing the same complaints from everybody.
What is that?
The one that we've been specifically looking at, Square D, as one that they can do. And I think there's some others that are jumping on board. Square D kind of got ahead of the curve. Of course, the other guys are said, hey, we got to get in the market here. So they're starting to build a similar product. Because that's why we're going to be getting involved in the folks. It's a real problem.
I'm glad you're going Square D to be using, a good brand. And when you first get generic, hoping it wasn't going to be modified, I think somewhere down the road, we'd have to worry about whether to switch over to update somebody else's product. But Square D's been around long enough to where it's a household, it's like pretty there.
Especially we want a piece of equipment here that's going to last as long as we want to get out.
Yeah, like 50 years.
Any other questions, Ron? Ron, thank you very much for the presentations. I appreciate it.
I'm remiss to not acknowledge the gracious money we got from Kent Food Foundation and support for us. We're going to be putting in servicing an additional 50 juniors in this program. It's big to us, and we are very good. Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments? That being said, we're going to move on to number 6, the approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes of August 22nd. Please. Val, second. Mr. Huska. Roll call.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Aye.
Mr. Huska. Aye. Mrs. Dane.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham. Aye. Mrs. Deli.
And I vote it's a minute. And that is going to
Mrs. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. Kieran.
Aye.
Mr. Spider. Aye. Mr. Madison.
Okay. Right, items of information, Mr. Prager, you're right.
Thank you, Mr. President. The biggest change here, I don't want you guys to have a heart attack, but if you look at the purchase service line, you'll see 1.9 million was paid out in August. The bulk of that is the, 4 invoices I received from your home schools for Project Lead the Way. So that came to roughly $1.7 million. So normally it's not that large, but this is for last year's Project Lead the Way cost. And then going forward, that line item will be back to roughly 90,000 a month. Under treasurer action items, Do you have any questions on that?
I was gonna ask.
Thanks.
Well, I got one.
Sure.
Totally could get involved. So here, the project we were, then that bottom line is that we pay, I don't screw it.
Yeah, we pay for the teacher of record, all expenses related to teaching that class. So teacher of record, benefits, travel, if they travel, training, if they go to training, we pay for that.
Okay, I understand, but you want to make sure.
Yeah,
So, Tad Fitch, our Director of Student Services, met with, quarterly people this actually just last week or the week before? Yesterday, yes, well, so this week. So they are already working on CT 26 to get that in place, and they're identifying currently the middle school is they're going to start at the middle school level. They're identifying the programs that they want to have there, and then hopefully expand it through the high school. But the way, I guess they've identified a math teacher, and then let's say 4 of the 7 periods they teach Project Lead the Way. Then we would pay 4/7 of that person's salary, but we get credit for the kids that are sitting in there for that. But it works a lot better, and not that one's better than the other, but when I was at Polaris used a model where we put our teacher in that building and they weren't always accepted. Give you an example, when we went into Brooklyn had layoffs, and then we put new teachers in there and that didn't go well. But what has gone well is hiring their teachers, and most of the time they identified their premium brown teachers to teach the Project Lead the Way. And we think that's the case here with globally as well. And the program just blows up because they build it. And the only requirement is they have to put in 15 to 25 students per section. And that's it. And they can run as many sections as they want, so long as they're between 15 and 25. And then we don't get involved with their schedule.
any other questions? I have a good relationship with your treasurer, so we go back and forth on what's needed for me. So the auditors will be happy. So they submit the appropriate paperwork for me to charge on for that.
Yeah, it can be good work with you. So we just, like everything up front, and like, go back to work and we just, do everything right along.
No. So under treasurer action items, item A is monthly financials, financial statement, and monthly expenditures. Under item B is amended certificate of estimated resources. This is the first amendment for the year. Item C is amended appropriation. Again, the first amendment for the year. Under item D is technology disposal. And then lastly is item E, and this is the approval of the public accounts. So I'm asking for approval of A through E.
Questions or comments?
Ms. Pritchard? Yeah. So just so you know, I sent out an update last week about the public accounts. We recently had a meeting with the officers of those public accounts. Typically the secretaries and treasurers came to this meeting. However, we did actually have some presidents and vice presidents show up too, which was great. It's good experience for them. And what we did was we shared with them what their role is as officers for the public accounts. I reminded them that this is their money. We just manage it, but it's their fund raising money proceeds. And so I told them they can pretty much, do what they will, but then as long as we get a vote, when they vote in a meeting to how they want to spend that money, and so on and so forth. So of course they talk to their advisors and they go through the process, but then we also train them on the detailed piece of it, like how to fill out the forms, what's appropriate, what's not, so on and so forth. So far, I am pleased to say, every form we've received back for fundraising has been perfect. The notes, everything, all the detail, all the backup for all the forms to do fundraisers has been perfect since our meeting. So it's worked out really well. And they were happy. I got them donuts. They got great. They drank all my orange juice, but they didn't drink all the milk, but they drank all the orange juice, so they thought it was great. But yeah, that was one thing I wanted to share.
I'm sure the students appreciate it, but I think before those students, that a good time to build it out. It makes in the long run, picture about what's easier, she sounds right.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, in previous districts, previous roles as treasurer, we don't interact with the students that much. So to have it on my evaluation here, it's, forcing me to do it, and I enjoy it. I mean, it's great. And we've always worked with kids, but not at this level. They would just come in our office, we'd go through work, and then they leave. So I never really had to sit down with them. So this was very beneficial. We look forward to doing it every year going forward.
So it's a great experience with money. And it's the first, takes a lot of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And when being responsible for it. But we're getting really hard.
And it counts.
More students.
That's all right.
That's great.
Any questions about that?
Awesome. Ms. Richard?
Aye.
Ms. Dane? Mr. Gunning? Mr. Huska? Mrs. Sealy?
Aye.
Sorry.
Okay.
Mrs. Pavlik?
Aye.
Mr. Kieran?
Aye.
Mr. Spider?
Aye.
Mr. Matt?
Number 9, superintendent, items for information.
Grant updates, where we're at right now with that. Chris and I have met 3 times now, with the Super Rapids. We submitted the grant for that, for the fire tower for that piece. And that budget has to be done by the end of next week. And what that did is it clumped the 3 institutes of higher education, Lorraine, Tri-C, and Cleveland State with the 7 OTCs of our region. And we got $3.5 million between the 10 entities. The 3 institutes of higher education thought it was all theirs, but legislation would prove otherwise. And so we will have that budget created by Tuesday of next week and submitted. We are hoping to get at least $400,000 of the fire tower. That's what our submittal has been. And we submitted the whole thing up. What I did is I said, well, 3.5, and there's only 9 entities, possibly only 8 entities that are applying for it. That should be a denominator. We should divide that in 4 months. The colleges have historically gotten around $600,000 under Rapids, under the governor's biennial budget, called the Super Rapids, made $3.6 million for our area, just our region. Made $3.6 million, so it's a dramatic increase for them regardless, and they call it the Super Rapids. So we've worked like we've got a few hours in this, but I have not heard back from OFCC. I have not heard back for our construction trades building, but that deadline has been pushed back 9 times. They're like, you'll hear by the end of this week. We don't hear by the end of that week. The fire tower, there's still going to be $900,000 left of the fire tower money. I plan on submitting that towards the $100 million equipment. And the fire tower may not sound like equipment, but we have a legal opinion that it's a piece of equipment. We have the fire chief's officials saying that it is not an inhabitable building, so it is therefore a piece of equipment. We have some of the best letters I have ever read in my life. We had to have 2 letters of recommendation. We got 1 letter of recommendation from Representative Sharon Gray, one letter of support from the Medina County Economic Development, which was amazing. Chris secured one from Cuyahoga Valley Christian, wrote one supporting our project. And then the 4th one is the Medina County Fire Chiefs Association. So we've got a lot of backing right now for these projects. And a lot of really good support. And if you want some good reading, I can send you the 4 letters. That's amazing. Principals report, history X, anything that you would highlight there?
I want to highlight some of the really neat events that our students have been involved in. Our newly created Student Leadership Council this year, they wanted to do a senior sunrise, like a lot of your local schools do. But our senior group that was selected last year wanted to do a student sunrise event to invite the juniors to our building. So on September 1st, that evening, what do you think, about 75, 80 students showed up that morning to celebrate that event to kick off the school year. Next up, We have one of our students in our firefighter EMT2 program, Elizabeth Kelly from Medina, did a dramatic reading in remembrance of 9/11 through the loudspeakers for the rest of the student body, and did a moment of silence. Back to the top of that, I'm going chronological here. Back on September 14th, we had our summer internship dinner prepared by Chef Tony and his students. We had 89 companies that had 114 of our students work for them over the summer, and 16 of our career technical programs were part of that program. Moving on to the next event, September 16th, our engineering and precision machining program did a fundraising event for a car show. We had 79 cars, I believe, paid $10 in entry. It was a great event. It was a beautiful morning for those of you that might have popped around or remember that Saturday. A lot of former students showed up for that day just to walk around and see what's going on with the school. And then the playing pool, on that same Saturday, on the 16th, we had two teams participated in pulling a 747. The team in the orange actually defended our title. They raised over $2,000 for a good cause. And then we had a second team that consisted of our relationship with Twisted Burgers and Sushi. They raised $1,500 total. Money to earn for that, not through us, but the event in total was $68,000. Our career and community experience students are back sharing kindness throughout our building. They send out a sign up for people to go around and select people to be celebrated that day. And Tracy Radeball and her students go around, they introduce themselves, they're working on social skills, and give some type of treat to whomever might, like I did, the entire secretary, the administrative assistants, just to thank them for what they did. That's something that I did, and Tracy's students go around to different groups that sign up for that. And lastly, we like to participate in leadership at Medina County every year. Some of you may recognize Mrs. Molly Gray. She's one of our job JTCs. Works in our programs very closely with our career technical students that are embedded in our career technical programs. She was our speaker at ACTE. Matter of fact, yesterday a group from Euclid came based on her presentation. So we thought it'd be great for her to be part of leadership in Medina County this year. And moving on with part of that leadership in Medina County, this is the first time in our school history we have 5 of our students competing, or not competing, but as a member of the leadership hall on Churchill Medina Junior Leadership. That's what we have going on in September. Any questions?
If for some reason you feel his date was off on the car show and will by Sunday, it is because the sheriff's office thought that was such a great idea. They hosted one on Sunday, so it's back-to-back weeks, and they were trying to raise money for their canine. And the canine handler is going to be Caleb Yorks, and he graduated from our high school auto tech program, which is the normal pathway to criminal justice. And then he took our Pata, and he was recently hired by the sheriff's office, and so that part of it goes to raise money for canine. You can have Philip lines. Textbook up for information will be for approval next month. Is the new 911 dispatch book. Chris Galena, director. Yes.
Few items to highlight for you. I wanted to put some names to faces with our brand new instructors that we have on staff. I'll tell you, they're doing a fabulous job. I also wanted to share with you just some pictures of some of the classrooms here in the evening. If you, when you're leaving this evening, I would say take a look at the parking. You'll see lots of cars there. Parking lot is filled, and our teachers truly cannot thank this Board of Education enough for their support. When they came back to school and to have the numbers that they have right now, and they know that that's because of the support from this Board of Education. So they really can't thank you enough for that. So I want to share their thanks as well, and some pictures of some of our students enjoying their time in their classrooms here in the evenings. I'm also excited to share with you that we received a $19,000 Talent Ready grant. It's a brand new grant from the state of Ohio. Those dollars are specifically earmarked for short-term programming, for short-term certificate programs, to help with workforce development, workforce education, and that is that group of teachers that you just saw in the beginning. That's all of their programs to help bolster and support what their needs are. And I will be at Focal Lake High School on Thursday. They're having a senior education day, a senior career day, so I'm looking forward to meeting with some of the seniors that day, spending time there. And it was a very busy month with Mr. Chris and Match. We've had a lot going on.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you.
The building and grounds report is listed on here as well. Adult ed was good. Last night in HVAC, the class was completely packed. Chris Pope, I was leaving at 6. Chris Pope was heading at 6:05, and he said, "There's no gas in the HVAC lab." So I couldn't figure it out on my own, so I had to call in Gary. So I appreciate Gary coming in late last night. The adult HVAC students were able to start hooking up a lot of those units, and that's really good to see. Action items, we still have, I still go through them, even though there's some that are pulled out. Construction trades building. Now, this one, inside of that action item, has multiple approvals. You're approving the architectural fee. You're approving the go out to bid. You're approving securing 3 bids for the electrical switch gear, and then also the architectural fee associated with the switch gear. So there's 4 approvals inside of there. I won't go through each one of them, but I'm fairly aware as Ron presented. B is the combined for the high school office, the science classrooms, and the metal roof. There are basically 2 approvals there, architectural fees and the go out to bid. And then you've got the resolution, which you were familiar with, out-of-state professional development. This is so Mr. Kalina can attend the COE annual conference. Even if you'd like to vote no, please don't, because we have to maintain our accreditation, and that is one of the check boxes that we have to do. That's a no-brainer. Personnel, obviously we pulled one item out of there. Danny Sharp, if you look at this agenda hours ago, you would not have seen Danny Sharp. Danny Sharp's been our Welcome Center secretary for the last few years. She was able to secure other employment. She really wanted full-time employment. We were not able to offer that to her, and she was able to secure that just yesterday. So we got her letter of resignation in my office today. We've got 2 bus drivers. We have not had our bus drivers driving for us lately because we didn't have buses. We purchased 1 bus from Black River at the end of last year, and we purchased 1 bus from Wadsworth this year. So now that we have 2 buses, we are able to have 2 more bus drivers. And then we've got an FMLA for employee. And then the last thing is donations that are listed in the. So obviously we've got 3 different ways. You do consent, and then you do the resolution C. When it comes time for the resolution on C, our service here. Okay, I can't see that. Okay, Deputy Schneider is here, as well as Harley stepping up, so that we can have any discussions necessary with that. So we're going to need a motion for A for the consent. A, B, D, C, E, and F. Yes. We have a motion, please. Second. I'll second. The question is, Mr. Superintendent, those actions.
I just have a couple of questions on the construction trades. Are our senior class students, are they going to be utilized in any way in the construction process, or are they going to be able to observe what's going on out there since that's the path that they're taking?
Before answers, they can't participate because that would be underneath somebody else's umbrella, workman's comp. Some of them might have a union associated with it, so that's not that. When they were in the old facility though, and they were building this construction facility, they went over every single day.
Okay, and is that going to be part of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then keep reminded that it's going to become construction of interest. Questions? I'm being
Mr. Kieran,
Aye, yes.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mrs. Dane.
Aye.
Mr. Huska. Aye. Mrs. Deli.
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Aye.
Mr. Stiver.
Aye.
Mr. Matt.
Aye, thank you. And now we need a motion for resolution C.
So moved.
Second.
I have a question, it's not per se. I noticed in, at the bottom portion of page 1, where it says, section 2. And it says the names of the staff members described in section 2, which I believe that should be stated as paragraph 2. Because there are no names in section 2 there. I think it's supposed to say the names of the staff members described in paragraph 2, because that's where the name is actually.
They're not named, they're described, and here's what I would.
Oh, it's paragraph 3, where it actually says Harley Steffenbecker.
Here's what I would tell you, this entire thing was boilerplate. Minus, whereas Harley was a commissioned officer, and that it does not extend to anybody else. So this is OSBA boilerplate language, so I only added those 2 sentences.
So the other okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't write that. Any other questions, comments?
We already have the officer on you every day.
That's fair.
Okay. And we need to do that.
Okay, just my opinion on this is, I believe that, and I'll let the deputy SRO speak to that. This was never an intentional move. Never. I never thought a person of Harley's caliber would apply for our security position, but he fell on our lap. And as I began reasoning through it in my head, I thought it would be irresponsible at best for us to have a guy that has this type of qualification not be prepared to react in case of the situation. I think this board would be negligent. This is an opinion. I believe the board would be negligent if we had 20, if you were on the stands, you had a 22-year veteran, you had someone who was commissioned through the sheriff's office, who works under security, and you gave him keys. I don't want to answer that.
I have a few questions. Yeah. So dialing back to the senior survey, though, the students said that 98% of them felt safe. Okay, so I just want to point that out. So students do feel very safe coming here. Has there been an incident of that driving this?
Exactly like I said, the person of Harley's caliber down.
Okay. Does he feel the need to hear?
Harley and Deputy Schneider, I will let you feel that.
To the front of the class.
I can put here.
So do you feel a need to be hearing?
Anytime that you have a situation or an environment where your students and staff, there's always the possibility of something happening. You know, far too often these things happen in our society nowadays. And it's more of a visual deterrent than hopefully the use of a firearm will never have to happen in this facility. But by having two individuals here that are armed, does create a perception and visualization for people and less likely to come knowing there's two armed people.
What other type of equipment or deterrents are you referring, like the taser, mace spray, pepper spray?
I carry all that. I don't know what the sheriff's office is gonna allow him between everything that goes on. I think the firearm, like Harley said, is a good deterrent. I think one of our things is when we have a use of force or anything like that, an officer presence, the first thing they see. If you see an officer here, and you know there's another one on campus somewhere that's armed, in my opinion, that's a huge deterrent. I understand we have a small campus, but like Mr. Christman said, we have somebody with all this experience. I trust him with my life, and I trust him with the firearm to be right there with if anything happens.
My next question is the law enforcement instructors that we have, do they carry?
They lock them in their cars. I would be 99% sure they have them in their cars, but they have lock boxes in their cars.
In their cars, okay. And So I imagine, especially with our students who come from some of our more rural districts, they have experience with firearms. I'm sure a lot of them are hunting and stuff. So my question was, were there concerns from staff that really didn't
So I would like that, this is not a precedent that we have a precedent having a second security person. We went as a board last year. And he was a military person who didn't leave us, so we found the precedent of having a second person. He did not,
It's not a pilot, it was not a pilot commission.
I would imagine also as Chuck, Mr. Spider and I are being on the board that have former commission police officers. I would not work if I was commissionary fire because it did the work a job doing security as semi-police perspective without hearing a fire. Because you're a commission officer and we don't have that trust for that person. And lastly, is well, we've not had anything that I'm aware of fighting this. We did have students severely assaulted in the building. And thereby the good graces that Mr. Crispin spotted immediately and the deputy takes them out in the woods. Drag them back. He was a bad person. And I was genuinely, as a board member, since he was a former Buckeye student, I was very concerned about him returning here. I believe I also had reached out to the deputy to notify Buckeye to make them new, especially the SRO, because he had an accident. And he could have, obviously assaulted somebody really bad. So I think we have a precedent for having that second person. I would turn it back over to Spider, the commission person that you're looking at.
Yeah, I guess I'll first say I've known Dr. Snyder all of our careers. And if he is good with it and supportive of it, that's really all I need to hear. I know him, I trust him, I like that, and I trust his word. I think we're in a unique situation, very seldom as you said, Mr. Chrisman, that somebody that's a state trooper in Ohio, that level of education, training, knowledge, skills, and ability to step forward and want to be a security guard at our facility. Those tools, those skill sets are already in place. And I think it presented a unique opportunity to have somebody of that caliber in our building. And so I think we look at it as that it's a unique opportunity. And I appreciate having it here. There is a lot between nothing and lethal force. As Deputy Snyder said, that first thing, it's officer presence. That's why Mike is in uniform, comes in uniform, and is presented in uniform. A lot of the tools that he carries are already in place here. His taser, Roski spray, his Aspeton, all tools that he brings with him wherever he is in the building. But then what is a security guard? We don't want to put him in a full uniform. We don't want to burden with that. He still has all those tools that don't require something physical. De-escalation techniques, the ability to deal with people, a lifetime of dealing with people alone on the side of a highway, to get him to do what he needed to do. And so I just come back to what a great position to be at. I circle all the way around 360 and then I'll be quiet. I trust Mike Schneider, inherently. I trust the training that the Ohio State Regular School provides their troops, their level of professionalism. And lastly, I respect and trust Sheriff Rice for his willingness to do that. And to me, that's all I really need to know about it. I think it's a bonus for us. It's a win-win. God bless you for wanting to do it.
And he's gonna have a child that comes here shortly.
So you're not gonna wear a uniform?
I may have a security polo and pants on,
Okay,
so I'll be identifying as a security guard.
okay.
You come with an elite background. You know, like this driver right here. Your background itself speaks volumes. And I think no matter what you want to do, but if you got somebody with a background, you have, you can't do it. And I don't think you should start your training and also like exclusive with an equipment teacher or a maintenance worker, and letting them do 24 hours worth of training. I don't feel right. I hate that idea. All right, well. Yeah.
Anybody else have any more questions or comments? Debbie Schneider, thank you for all that you do every day. We appreciate it. You're welcome. It's our- Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, your lights are dead on the highway. Oh, it's, all right, so we have a roll call.
Ms. Pritchard,
I'm,
Mr. Ruska. Aye. Mrs. Day,
and,
Mr. Gillingham. Mrs. Elliott, Mrs. Pavlik,
I'm,
Mr. Kieran,
Aye.
Mr. Spider. Aye. Mr. Mass.
Thank you. All right, item E2, I have a motion, please. Ms. Day,
I'll second.
thank you. Question or comments, Mr. Gabbard?
So this one kind of caught me off guard. Do we have standards, that local companies follow when they want to employ one of our students?
Yeah.
Do we at the Career Center follow those same standards?
Yes.
So did this intern go through the formal interview process?
She was interviewed by anonymous, but nothing,
She was interviewed by who?
and then
Okay,
she was gonna work for, so,
okay, what career technical path is she pursuing?
criminal justice.
I just find it odd that we are going to, with all of the other, business, courses that we have here, that there was not any other student who was interested in that.
Our previous young lady was from DMT and she did a phenomenal job. And this young lady is also, one of the class presidents. She is highly recommended to the trackers.
Okay, but, so was it recommended by the instructor? Were all the instructors advised that there was the position that was open?
That was, no,
Okay, because if it was, advertised for that position, because again, just a reminder for our board members, students who gain hands-on experience by working in their career field can actually, earn a half a credit hour, towards their graduation requirements, correct?
under the work-based learning methods.
Okay, so, and that's on pages 26 and 27 of the student handbook. There is a complete section that's that goes through the work-based learning program and the process that
The
is
student
stated
is
in
not
this.
hired underneath the work-based learning.
Okay, so do we have a board approved policy on hiring, high school student interns for the career center?
Just have a rate for them.
Okay. Because while I didn't find one specific to our high school age interns, I did find a few others, equal employment opportunity, giving the, equal opportunity for all of our students to apply for the student intern position, and not just based on one teacher's recommendation for the one. I also ran across the, personnel policy rules, which is used to develop and implement strategies for personal improvement that results in employing the best available candidate. There could possibly be another student at the school who might have been a better fit or may have been interested in the opportunity as well. But if it wasn't posted or advertised, they weren't given the opportunity, the equal chance to apply otherwise. And again, I go back to, it might have been more appropriate to have a student who's pursuing a business pathway, working in the office, gaining exposure to the office environments, than the first responder personnel. So did she want the position or did her instructor tell
She
her?
was approached because she was an officer and because she had assisted.
Okay, so she was approached by the instructor.
She was approached by me.
By you. Do you know the student outside of the
I
school?
didn't cross me. She was.
Okay,
I know hundreds of students.
okay, all right, I'm just saying, I know that y'all have the sincerest interest of students individually, but we still have to, we should be and following certain procedures. And again, giving the opportunity for all the students to apply for a position, to make some extra cash, and as well as gain some experience, particularly in the business pathway. So, I just want to maintain the integrity of hiring student interns. I think we should draft and develop a policy about hiring minor school age student interns here. And again, or just follow the standards we set for the outside companies who are looking to hire our students as well.
I understand that to possibly, that's something that you're up on.
I would look at your assuming there's this person in criminal justice, he's gonna be in a patrol car. There's a lot of checkers, a lot of office people. I mean, there's a lot of clerical work, there's a lot of background checking and everything else, computer work that a police officer has to do. I think the two here would tell you right now, they're not just walking the halls, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of documentation. There's a lot of work on it. Just being in an officer at school, they told me that her student body is ready, accepted her as someone that's a student of that should be unapproachable, inapproachable. If she's got character, which you can have, and I think that would be a job you want in the office here. Somebody with great character that's not going to take stories outside the office. Because you will be privy to different things where I think somebody in criminal justice might even have a better background knowledge of knowing what is supposed to be kept, what's supposed to be kept, as opposed to the office gossip. I just think that was a great choice, and when maybe Mr. Chrisman knows hundreds of students, but I'm sure he does. Yeah, he probably thought and asked. He was over his students, and I'm sure there was plenty of dialogue throughout the building with other teachers. That may have led to, hey, you're not position. And somebody wanted to step up on that fence, they would have.
Yeah, that would be my question. Did any other teachers or programs say I have a student that's internship?
No, it's not an internship. Well, it's not an internship under the schools like necessarily basement. The key here is being able to make sure you can trust this person and know this person's character. So that is the way the last one from the BMT was identified as well. Is it somebody I knew that I was like, this person has good moral integrity, this person understands confidentiality, and I can trust them. And quite frankly, to be able to trust someone who can have a minimum wage job is not easy to find.
And I'll ask this question here, about the half credit. Now, would you still be able to use the half credit stipulation on a person that's doing even the work in the office, because it is 100% right back to law enforcement, but the U.S. law paper. So wouldn't we be able to also,
I know you're not looking at that. Certainly something we have to see if she can get credit.
I think we should look into that, because I think we can probably qualify for that.
When we hired two students in the building with special needs, we didn't post that. We hired two students with special needs. Correct. They went ahead and now that somebody else might have wanted too, but we hired two students with special needs.
And that's working full time and more full time a year.
Right.
Yeah, I know, maybe both are, but
One school, one's part of it.
I just think that what the people we have, especially students we have, are fantastic. And I think it's the best process, what you're saying. You knew who you had, and you want to hear it, but it's like I would if I could somebody want you more honest than the neighbor guy that drive over the flowers.
Could you ever approach the presidents of business programs?
When we hired Trista a year ago, we did interview some of the business students, and they weren't as good as yours. We did not do it again. Not this. Because we identified a student that we believe that we could trust. We believe understood confidentiality, and have the skill set to do the job. Any more questions? Comments? Larry would reflect.
One, not. Twice, I think, both. Conflicted. Although we certainly have spent some time dancing around the heart of the concern. Okay. Did that. I also will be concerned about the way it's presented. I'm not throwing it in the box,
okay.
but I had concern the way it was presented. Medina. I would be remiss if I didn't say that. That's why I'm important. Well, I might share some concerns. There is no law prohibiting it. My nepotism violation. I'm also conflicted on the way it was presented that it wasn't. So there's my conflicted. So not perplexed, conflicted.
With that being said, no other questions, comments, we have a roll call.
Mrs. Day, Mr. Gillingham.
So what was the question?
This is under item 10E.
Higher student.
That's initially how we broke it out in the consent agenda. But it's been separated since then, so we can separate it, but we still have to approve 10E.
And we did, we had is part of, we need that news morning, I know,
On the agenda, it's been added as well.
okay. So those we did, it was under the, that's what we each does.
No, that was, it wouldn't let me.
But we never, that's why.
Okay, so let's, we're already back to the motion on this one.
Right.
We'll vote on this one, go back.
Are we, that's so.
Yeah, we did the other call.
Mr. Gillingham.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I second.
Right.
I was, but execution. You
That's not
said,
a call.
no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you said something.
Mrs. Patton.
No,
Mr. Gillingham. Mr. Husko. No. Mrs. Deli.
No, I couldn't feel right, no.
Ms. Pritchard.
No,
Mr. Karen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Right.
Mr. Scriver.
Hi.
Mr. Benson.
Can I ask a question? Is a picture of my child sent to the entire board? Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, let's move on to personnel E, please. No, that's for abstain, so it is. Go. Yeah, right, we do the pathway recommendations, superintendent. It would take a 3/4 vote of the recommendation to hire. First. Right. So pass. Pass it.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
The passing recommendation of the superintendent is to go against the resolution to hire the 3/4 still. The 4-4-1 it still has. Wow.
well, where is
It's specifically in, Ohio Revised Code for hiring teachers.
that if the superintendent makes a recommendation to school board and that it's turned down, it takes a recourse resolution to turn it away. Since you have 50-50 at this point, or 441, you have a situation where you have the recommendation of the superintendent pass.
You're not recommending the teacher.
But by the 441 comes into play, that it still passes.
But the higher told you said recommendation of the teacher.
It does not say it's specific to support staff.
So then I don't think it would pass, it would be high. I mean, I personally would have given it, somebody's opinion. I mean, you know, what is a higher rise told number?
I have to do it all. For the teacher one, I don't know if I would cover it previously.
I mean, if it's for a teacher, is a student who is working part-time, I don't believe that a 441 means that it's a part of the, you automatically have to go into recommendation. Yes, I don't get that, so then why, if everything has to be overturned, or you, by third force, then why would we come here? I mean, I'm sorry, but I just think this is something that we need to ask for the attorney as to whether or not with the student, with this legitimate.
We like the right now would be a minute recess. We get superintendent out to move forward with information we would need to go ahead. So we want to spend, I'm not gonna be able to find the classified staff.
Yeah.
Speak up, I'm part of my hearing.
That's something you might be following.
We like to take a minute recess. Yeah, we'd like to take a minute recess, please. Thank you. We'll do
Okay, we're back in session. It's now 7:40. E2, 441 abstention, it does not pass. Does not go forward. It's done. May I have a motion for?
I would like to add, that I did also ask John if there was a board member that emailed the entire others, not all of those.
Something that no.
I'm gonna trust you, because without was even done.
Okay, letter E. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second,
Okay.
questions or comments?
They've been about that for 20 years.
Roll call. Mrs. Deli.
Aye.
Mrs. Dave.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. Huska. Aye. Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Aye.
Mr. Karen. Mr. Stiver. Aye. Mr. Matt.
Aye, thank you. All right, and then we need to now have a E3. Superintendent has authority to hire persons between board meetings. Until the board meeting for final approval. So we have hired somebody between the meetings, and now we have to pay that person for the previous work that has been completed. So, second. Questions or comments? I'm doing it about our gas. We're talking about this. Well, it was turned down. About
Federal labor laws dictate I have to pay them if they work, and it's kind of like if you guys won't hire me, I can't pay them. So that's what.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta pay her for the time she did work.
This is now item
E3.
G.
No, it's way out. We got E2. We're like E3. I call it. Then.
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you putting out there for that?
approval pay.
Yeah, so the system doesn't actually go E1.
Okay, gotcha.
So when I plugged it in, I have E was the original personnel, F was the student intern, and now G will be the approval.
Thank you. My apologies.
All to be designated. Today. Board of Education recommends approval to pay the student intern for hours worked.
That's good enough. There's a resolution that stands for G. We got a motion and a second on the table. Any questions? Roll call. Hey.
You know me, I've never really, we have 10 contract, and I've never been afraid to speak my mind. You know, a very wise person, my wife, who's an educator for 34 years. Reminded me multiple times, both here, both in my position with the fair board, involving we represent the youth of Medina County. We can clear all the smoke away, always keep in mind, do what's right for our youth. And always vote to support your teaching staff. Because they want to do what's right. And I tried to follow that guidance, for someone who spent a career in elementary school classroom, always do what's right for them. And I think the thing I found problematic today is when I clear all the smoke away, what is in the best interest of this young lady? Period. Clear everything else off the table. What is in that individual's best interest, regardless of who did what or who said what, or who thought what, or how it was done. What's in the best interest of that? And that's why I voted yes before. That's why I voted yes again.
Anybody else?
No, I have a question. Dave, is that,
In 12 years as a board member and what happened, 7 years here. I've never seen a vote for the students. That's interesting. It's not about the students, it's about person that might be supervisor that was supervisor. We voted to, there's other ways to handle this and hurting the students. Now tomorrow we got all the students, which is fine. Because we don't like the loss. Yeah. It's not like it.
I don't want to hurt the student.
But you did,
I
you did. So don't tell me you don't want to, you did.
Yes.
So you want to do one target, you're fired tomorrow? You think our down trouble? That's a horrible thing we did this. You have a problem with the person who made a recommendation, you deal with that person. We do not take it out on kids. We are here to protect kids. Your whole life as a teacher was to protect and honor kids. This is what you became, what you are. So all these people back there, they are here to take care of our kids. I don't care about relationships with other people. I care about these kids. Everything we do. So I don't want to hear, there's no excuse other than say, yeah, I disagree. That's it. That's what we did. Tell me that we did not hurt this kid. Did you not hurt this kid tonight? Yes, we did. Tell me you didn't. Your whole life is instructed. You voted against the kid. How can you vote against the kid?
Because I think, though, the way it was handled was the problem. Should have never even gotten this.
Like,
Should have been.
But that's when we create policy, and that should be the next step, not the student.
No, it should
The next
never
step
got.
of policy.
but that's not. That's the person who created it did it. You hurt the kid. Yeah, we're talking about the same job, minimum wage. You hurt the kid. It's just, I never voted against the kid in all the time. I know you never voted against the kid. Tonight it's just, it's tough. But we go on. So
Like they want, we heard the kids. And I'll guarantee more evaluation done if you put in the evaluation. Right, so it's gonna be a double year. I mean, I would take it, but we want to go after, but I think the child. I attempted to hire someone I respected and I trusted and was gonna do a good job, and the young lady has the qualifications, she's a straight A student. And the way that the board was informed as well as the, and a violation of ethics and violation of section.
Mr. Snyder? Aye. Mr. Kieran? Aye. Mrs. Dane? Mr. Gillingham?
Aye.
Mr. Huska?
Aye.
Mrs. Ellie?
And what am I gonna be? And the student for,
Ms. Pritchard?
I,
Mrs. Pavlik? Mr. Benson?
okay, more comments. On a positive note, I had the opportunity, we had our academic boosters had an award program, at the high school, and I was privileged to be able to attend. They do several throughout the year. As part of that, Pam Overholter, as many of you know, Pam asked each one to write a short bio to introduce them before they got their awards. And I was very pleased to see one young man stand up. Of course, he was getting an academic award and talked about, she gave all the history of what he's been involved in, honor society, all of that. And then they gave their future plans for college, where they were going to go. And after hearing a quite lengthy academic achievement record, his intentions, that she read it, were to attend the Medina County Career Center Adult Ed program and get a certificate in HVAC. And I was like, I wanted to go, shit. But I didn't. I refrained. At least I had a smile. So it was good to hear. But that's pretty cool. There's a young man who found very inexpensive way to become employed. So good for that. Good for his parents. Anybody else have more comments? No. Everybody else? So I'm just going to finish up with thank you. We still have a mission to do, talk about it every day. We are a learning community that has students, competitive advantage, career and education academic. So contentious meetings are contentious meetings. Tomorrow morning we will be here at crack of dawn, educate kids, and do the best for kids and the hardworking people that are out there watching us. We do your job. We need to support them, and we all be friends about that. May I have a motion, we got no reason for executive session unless somebody has an executive session. May I have a motion for adjournment? So, Mr. Gillihan, second by Mr. Snyder, roll call please.
Mr. Gillihan, Mr. Snyder. Aye. Ms. Dane. Mr. Ruska. Aye. Ms. Deli.
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard. Ms. Pavlik. Mr. Karen. Aye. Mr. Betts.
Aye, thank you. Very good. Audience member, thank you for doing this. Congratulations.